y'all? It's your boy Lanye, 24 years free. This is part of the series of how I got here. The witness's name, we're going to call her Maria Luna. Maria Luna was pivotal in this case against me because simply having me confess on a tape, coerced, you know what I'm saying, forced, all those things, even if I was crying, Howard is described on the tape is not enough in court. They need somebody to corroborate that tape. So even if they get you to confess to anything, they still need somebody to say, yep, he did that. With that said, Maria Luna shows up. So when I see Maria Luna in the courtroom, I had never known her before, but it turns out she had lived around the corner, as a matter of fact, directly behind Mr. Jenkins' house where this murder happened. Turns out at the time of the murder, whoever perpetrated the event jumped her gate, ran past her, I should say ran past her yard, ran past her window to an escaping vehicle. The next day, according to police records, they came back, the people who perpetrated the murder, they came back and asked to go through these people's yard and say, we forgot something. We need to go through your yard and see if we found something, we can find something we lost last night. And supposedly, Ms. Luna was present for that, right? So Ms. Luna is extremely pivotal to this case in regards to that, because if these people showed up the next day, she can identify one of them as me, according to the police's theory and what they were trying to approach this at. The problem with that is they showed her me, and then she said, no, that's not him. I could show you. Show me somebody else. I remember what the dude looked like. Show me somebody else. I can show you. That's not him, but show me somebody else. I can find him. And then they go, no, it's him. So that put her in a bind, right? She like, something wrong with this picture. So they basically say, you gonna say this is him. So she's like, well, I don't want to really do that. You know, I can help you out with the investigation and blah, 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 trying to do the right thing, America, blah, blah, blah. They're like, nah, we ain't trying to hear none of that shit. This is what you're going to do. And this is how this is going to go. You're going to go in there and you're going to say this is him, this is that. So she felt a little perplexed, right? That's what you get for trying to do the right thing, right? Mexican immigrant type of shit, right? They hit her with this. They say, if you don't do it, we're gonna look into your paperwork. We're gonna look into your shit. Turns out she got an uncle. His paperwork ain't right. So she panicked. She like, all right, I'll do it. End the story. She shows up in court. She gets on the stand. She's a beautiful young lady at the time. I must admit. She was maybe in her early 20s, maybe early 20s. She was about 21. Beautiful. She gets on the stand. She's, swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, nothing to the truth. The next day after the event, did this, yeah, that happened. These people showed up. They said they need to find something in my backyard, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I was there. I saw that. And the person one of the people you saw, you see him sitting there, yeah, who you see there? And she points at me. I'm sitting in the defendant's stand. I'm on trial for killing Larry Jenkins. She points at me, and then she said, yeah, that's the dude I seen in the next day. He came, he talking about he lost his something in the backyard. And he want to go back there and look. Now, he didn't actually look. He sat in the back seat ducking. Somebody else came and looked. Whoever that person is, that's not him. But he was hiding in the back seat, Mr. Tucker. So for that reason, yo, that shit moving. For that reason, she gets on the stand and she says that, and that changes everything because now she can corroborate whatever they got on before saying me on tape. So that's how Miss Luna steps into the picture. Now, what's interesting about this is that none of this never happened in regards to me, obviously, right? Miss Luna knows that when she gets on the stand and says that, right? She knows that she is saying this dude did it, and she's knowing in her heart of hearts this dude didn't do it, right? At the time, swear to tell the truth, hold the truth, pressure, cousin, uncle, paperwork not right. She like, this dude did it, right? That's the decision she had to make. That's the decision she made, right? All those years it wore on her though. All those years it wore on her to the point where if the opportunity ever presented itself, she would right that wrong, right? So she felt some kind of way about that to the point where she would right that wrong if it ever manifested as an opportunity. It did, where a man named David Walkington decided, he's a private investigator by the way, stealth partnership. He decided he's gonna send her a new private investigator and ask her about this event. This maybe 15 years later, maybe 12 years later, after this event. So he decides he's gonna send her a Mexican translator, a PI that can interview and find out, what did you think of that event, type of thing. When that dude showed up, she was like super happy to see him. She was like, "Oh, I was always wanting to clear this up." She like, I told him that wasn't a dude. I told him it wasn't him. I kept telling them it wasn't him. They wouldn't listen. So she say, I tell them if you show me a lineup, I can find the guy who it is. And they're like, no, we're not doing none of that. This who you gonna say this? And then she says she says to the equivalent of, they threatened my uncle's paperwork, right? And she said I had to do it. She said I had to get on the stand and say that was what I do. That's the decision I had to make at the time. That's the decision I made. I had to go to the pen. She had to point me out. That's how that had to play out, apparently, right? Fast forward years later, this Mexican PI show up to her door, right? This fool like, hey, remember this time, blah, 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 backyard murder? She like, yeah. She like, man, I've been waiting for y'all to show up. She say, it's been weighing on me for years that shit happened. She like, I kept telling them it wasn't him. They wasn't buying that shit. She like, they were determined to make it was him, so they threatened my people's paperwork, and I said it was him. She was like, but I kept telling them if they would just show me the paper, the pictures, I would find them. They wouldn't do that shit. She was like, over the time, I probably couldn't pick them out like that. She was like, but I kept telling them that it wasn't him. So I'm glad you showed up. So anyway, this dude gets a complete verbal affidavit. You know what I'm saying? It's verbalized. It's agreed upon, and she agrees to be on record, right? That's documented somewhere. We got that. And I would say maybe 2 weeks later, maybe the PI, somebody got the bright idea. Let's go back and get her on signed paperwork saying the same thing that she's agreed to say on audio recording, knowing she was being recorded and she affidavitly agreed to what she's saying is true. And they said, Okay, that's a good idea. So they go back and they attempt to get her a signed affidavit from her. Now apparently she's talked to one of her cousins, a Mexican, mafia affiliated, we don't help black people kind of setups. And he tell her like, nah, your name not finna be on no paperwork saying nothing to say. What? No. Right? So she done froze the fuck up. And that is what it is. I'm from the streets enough to know how the shit works. So the fact that she froze up, I get it, right? But it is what it is. At some point, I caught her in a window. At some point, I caught her in a window of consciousness, to the point where she recorded that shit, and she recorded and she agreed to that, and that's affidavit, right? Penalty of perjury and all that type of shit. So it is what it is. But Miss Luna is extremely important in the fact that in 2012 she recanted her statement, right? She said on record, in this audio recording I have on record, not only did I tell him it wasn't him, but I told him I would find out who it is if they show me some pictures. They wouldn't show me no pictures. So we got that on record. And a lot of people is always amazed, like, the system doesn't work. The system, when they make their mind up that somebody's gonna be who it's gonna be, they're gonna fix the play. They're gonna make sure you have to make the play they want to make, the play they want. They're gonna make sure that shit happens, right? So Miss Luna is extremely important in that. But the fact that she recanted, right, after all those years, when she recanted, it actually opened the floodgates in regards to the district attorney's office. I can't read. I ain't got my glasses on. In regards to the district attorney's office, because now they had to admit, okay, let's file something to say. Let's file something to say. We're going to investigate what she's saying. So they tried to investigate what she's saying in regards to admitting that this is new evidence, right? But they hurry up and bury their own evidence in regards to, oh shit, we're going to have to get in some trouble if we do all this admitting. So they hurry up and squash that, right? But the point is that the documents exist. In other words, the documents I mean, in regards to documents I mean, the audio exists. So the audio exists. Miss Luna don't want to be put on the spot, and I get it. You know what I'm saying? Some people want to let sleeping dogs lie where they may. I get that, right? But I don't know. I want to document this as much as possible, right? So as long as we document it as much as possible, we're gonna get it on record. Now, Miss Luna don't want to be put on the spot, so please don't add it. Don't do none of that, right? But just know that she's a pivotal part in this, because without her, it wouldn't happen, and without her, it wouldn't have been reversed, right? So the next part I'm gonna get into is going into the prison part, right? Because after Miss Luna, it was pretty much a slam dunk in regards to their case, and it was a wrap. The false confession in Miss Luna, everything else was icing on the cake, right? So we're gonna move on to the rest of this, which is the prison part. Hey, y'all have a good time. Yo, I'm Lanye. Yo, until next time. I'm only telling my story, man. I'm only telling my truth, yo. Until next time. Lanye, 24 years free.